Welcome to Beyond the Signboard, where you get the opportunity to learn all there is to know about your real estate journey from professionals who are passionate about property. I'm Amy Bennett, your host, and I look forward to providing you with education, inspiration, and a behind-the-scenes look at the world of real estate. Hi everyone, it's Amy Bennett here, host of Beyond the Signboard. Today joined by Craig Smith, Director at Australian Valuers. Welcome, Craig.
Thanks, Amy.
Thanks for jumping in. Yeah, great to have you in the hot seat. Thanks for jumping at the opportunity. Really excited today. We're going to chat about all things property valuations. Yep. My favourite topic, tax depreciation. I know I'm a bit of a nerd for that. It's probably how we probably got to know each other. I was really seeking an expert here on the coast that was able to help clients. Certainly in a previous role, a lot of landlords were seeking tax depreciation schedules. Yep. But before we get into that, I'm just going to share a little bit about your team and then we're going to learn about you.
Yep, excellent.
So Australian Valuers are a team of highly specialised professionals who have the experience to provide clients with reliable, independent property valuation advice. They utilise both technology and old-fashioned values to provide a more holistic service that is always well received. I love that, Craig. That's beautiful. Sometimes the about us gets a bit neglected. I think that really speaks volumes to you and the business. So look, over to you to share your career journey. I'm really excited for people to learn your history in the industry.
Yeah, look, it started a fair while ago, probably when I was about 16. So I did work experience. I was sort of placed with in three different roles, and one of them was with the valuer, so I really enjoyed that. And basically that sort of set me on the path to becoming a valuer.
It's incredible. Yeah. I can't believe that. So you said you chose your subjects based on that as a career aspiration?
Yeah, my grade 11 and 12 subjects were based on angling towards that to get into university. So, and everything seemed to
it's amazing.
Pull me in that direction.
What did you study at uni? The qualification that you needed?
It's changed a few times over the years, but back then it was Bachelor of Property Studies. So it's a Bachelor of Business that majors in property.
Amazing.
I think it's real estate and development now, but it sort of changes depending on the university. So it's typically a 3-year degree.
Yeah, incredible.
And then you get placed as a cadet valuer in a firm and you work for 2 years and then you go for your registration. So you have to submit your reports to the board and then you've got to go in for like a 40 minute to an hour grilling.
Wow. Still the same?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
It's pretty intense.
Well, look, that's what I love about this podcast. It really is that, behind the signboard or beyond the signboard, but also, sneak peek behind roles. And I think so often, in so many professions, people don't really understand what it takes to get to that role. We're going to journey. Yeah, we're going to dispel some myths. We've already sort of spoke about some of the misconceptions. So then the move to Queensland.
Yeah, so moved to Queensland. I've been back and forth a few times. I went to boarding school up here and then left to go to Melbourne and then came back again. So came back in 2008 and that's when we set up the business.
Perfect. So you and your co-director Paul started Australian Valuers in 2008. So. Yes. Sweet 16 this year.
Yep.
Yeah. I'd love you to share your background with Paul. I think it's really admirable, your journey together.
Yeah. So we started out as, really close mates and still are back at university. So played a lot of rugby together and drank a lot of beers together.
Foundations of a good friendship.
Exactly, yeah. And, and then we sort of, spoke fleetingly about setting up a business one day and then, on a plane trip back from Africa, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when we went over there and then we sort of made a decision to really go for it and then,
amazing.
We sort of got that opportunity in 2008 on the Sunshine Coast, so moved up from Melbourne and then we started the business and, still running it.
Yeah,
still
and so
business partners, still mates.
oh, look,
It's all good.
look, that deserves a medal. You know, they say that about a wife, but I think as a business partner and friendship, that I just think that's a really awesome insight. So servicing Southeast Queensland, so Ipswich, Toowoomba, Gold Coast, and based here on the Sunshine Coast head office.
Yep, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, from Byron Bay to Gympie and out to Toowoomba is pretty much our patch. So
Amazing.
we have valuers, dotted all over the place that specialise in certain things and
there'd be a lot of variance between sort of like a Byron Bay property and you actually mentioned did you say a horse stud in the hinterland?
You sort of get to, and that's one of the things that I really love about the job. You get to see so many different properties. Like within one day, you could be valuing something worth $8 million in Minyama, and then you could be looking at something that's absolute entry level and ex-housing commission somewhere in the back of Kalu.
Look, I think that's...
But it's great. Like you meet a lot of varied people as well. So
I think that's what we're all attracted to with this industry, isn't it? Yeah, different properties. So no two properties are the same. Previous guests have said, no, two clients are the same as well, which makes a big difference. I'd love you to explain what a property valuation expert is and what they do.
Yeah, as I said before, there's a fair bit of qualification that goes in behind it. So we're certified, qualified valuers. So we're part of a professional body, being the Australian Property Institute.
Excellent.
So we get a number.
Yeah.
And as such, we can be sued on our advice. So I guess that's where we differ from, say, real estate agent or someone else that can give advice. So that's probably the main difference.
Absolutely. And we're going to talk about, we're going to delve into what's involved in the role and also that it's not just the physical viewing of the property. You sort of have already mentioned that there's a lot of work, isn't there, before, during and after when visiting a property. So it'd be great to learn a little bit more about that. Who do you think should use a property valuation service?
Yeah, that's really wide and varied.
Again, trick question. It's always a trick question. Everybody?
It's often it's a necessary evil. So people are told you need to get a qualified valuer. It might be for the ATO, it might be for the bank, it might be for a solicitor, but it has to be a qualified valuer.
Yep.
So off they go and then source some quotes or whatever. Other times it can be a bit more discretionary when we're giving advice to sellers and buyers. Often sellers and buyers want to engage us before they engage an agent.
Okay.
Or they might want to engage us coming into an auction.
Excellent, yeah.
Which is really helpful.
Yeah,
of course. It's quite it's all on the line at an auction, and at least if you've got some pre-advice, you've got all the sales and you've got that in your back pocket walking into an auction, you're going to feel a lot more confident about
absolutely.
where you can go to.
Perfect. I think that's something I didn't realise that people are engaging. So that's an awesome extra tip so that they're armed with the correct information. That's awesome. Yeah. I guess we chatted before, but one of the things that I, as a real estate professional, generally I'm meeting valuers when we're at contract stage. So this is why it's been really great to learn these additional services that your team offers. One of the things, again, I can't help but get straight to it, is the tax depreciation schedules. It was just something that I had no idea that so many people didn't know what they were. So it was a really great added benefit that I could give our landlords when I was in a previous role. We don't have to go into the nitty-gritty of it, but can you just give the audience just an understanding of what they are and why somebody would have one done?
Yeah, basically they're done for any investment property. So it actually, to go right back to the beginning, it came about, I think, from the Hawke and Keating government after the crash in the 90s.
Okay.
So they brought it on as a stimulus for the economy. And because it just works so well, it's, still here today. They have made a lot of changes and they're always changing and adding and, what you can and can't depreciate. But essentially it's still there and it still saves investors thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people just aren't aware that they can.
Absolutely.
There's so many people that don't even claim it, and no one actually gives them the advice to do it. So
I think
if the qualities of a good property manager,
yes,
or a good accountant, that
yes,
so you need to get one of these, because you talk to people and they go, "Oh no, my accountant looks after that." Well, the accountant doesn't do the schedule. Like, it's got to be done.
Yeah, you work in conjunction with
a quantity surveyor.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
So it's like a 40-year schedule.
Yes.
And each year you have, an amount that you can depreciate your income by. So it just sits with the accountant, give a copy to your accountant, hang on to a copy, and it just sits there. And every year they just deduct, 3,000.
What they're able to do,
off and it basically reduces your taxable income.
Excellent.
Which puts money in your pocket. That's a real quick snapshot.
And what would be some some items within the home that you'd be looking and eligible to depreciate?
Yeah, like the fittings and fixtures, the things that you see that that depreciate, like a split system unit.
Yes.
That sort of stuff. Fans,
that's what kind of jumped to mind straight away.
Blinds,
yeah,
carpet.
Absolutely.
All that stuff that has a shorter lifespan. So, and that's where you'll get a lot of your depreciation benefits in the first 5 years.
Yes,
which is really, really important for an investor, because that's when you're paying the absolute maximum and where cash flow is really tight generally when you first take on a property.
Absolutely.
So it's a really good way of being able to, relieve some of that, that financial burden that you get.
Yeah, such a missed opportunity, I have always felt. So, look, it was really important that we spoke about that. One thing I'd love you to explain is the difference between a desktop valuation and a physical evaluation to a property.
Yeah. So desktops, by their name, you obviously will just do them from the computer.
Yes.
So, they're just, I guess the difference is it's just not as thorough. We'd always want to go out and inspect the property. Some banks will instruct us to do either or. So, you get instructed to do a desktop, you just do the desktop. And often it's got a lot to do with how much people are borrowing. It might be a really low risk or a really low borrowing versus what they actually owe. So they're not going to go spending time and money on getting a valuer out there.
Yeah, perfect.
So just give us a desktop.
Yeah.
So they've got a place.
Of course.
But it's, I sort of liken it to a CMA, like a computer automated valuation. Like it can be spot on, and you could do a desktop and be spot on, or you could be a long way out. I think it's just it's a lot more risk to it.
Well, that's right. So with the physical valuation, that's probably a really interesting thing I'd love you to touch base on. I know your team sends out a video for the homeowner to sort of showcase what you do because it's not just the physical inspection.
No.
So I'd love you to cover off two things, explain the sort of before and after, or just some extra things, and then also what the homeowner needs to know. Do they need to do the dishes and have the home looking, sparkling and clean?
Yeah, look, it sort of all sort of starts back from when we receive instructions and we start preparing the file. So there's a fair bit that goes into a file because the valuations, it's like due diligence basically. So we've got to look at overlays and we've got to look at titles and searches and, all of that stuff in the background. So that sort of starts pre-inspection. We'll do our sales research before we go out. So we'll have a look at the property and go, okay, we'll try and pick half a dozen sales that we want to go and look at.
So you're looking, Craig, at sales, not what's on the market.
Yeah, no.
So you want actual, factual.
Yeah. So they've got to be settled sales. We can use properties that are under contract, but they can't form part of our sales schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a legal requirement.
Excellent.
It's got to be, because as you know, the sale's not a sale until it's settled.
Absolutely. There's a lot of variance, isn't there? With
anything can happen.
Absolutely.
Up to the 11th hour.
That's right. So look, it's just a great little insight. I thought that's awesome.
Yeah.
So then at the property.
Yeah, at the property. Look, we only really look at the physical fittings and fixtures of a property. So if a property is not clean, we look past all that anyway.
Sure.
As long as, it's not cluttered and it's tidy and we can get around. It doesn't have to be, sparkling clean or anything. We do measure the property as well. So as long as we can get around and,
So unobstructed.
Yeah. And obviously tie dogs up and...
Yes. You've seen it all, haven't you?
Yeah, I've seen it.
I love that you've got that as a warning. Is that in your video as well to tell people?
I think it is, yeah. I mean, there's, health and safety things that that can be
of course
a problem. And we've all got war stories. So.
Yes, yeah, we all say we've got a chapter and 10 in a book.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, so I'm imagining there's a lot of extra work once you've physically been into
definitely.
the property.
And sorry, just to go back, floor plans are a big one.
Yeah.
That if the property owner has those, it really helps us. After, as I said, when we leave the property, we'll go and look at our sales, and then we'll start to pull the report together and draft it, do all the analysis and everything. So that's where we, just sort of block out, a couple of hours to get your head around everything and make your decisions. And because you can't.
It's not an easy process,
no,
is it?
And you can't really mess around too much.
No,
like you don't, especially with bank jobs, you don't get paid much. So it's one of those things you've got to rush, but you can't make mistakes.
Yeah.
So you've got to really rely on technology.
Absolutely.
A lot.
And what would be, because of that extensive amount of research and everything, how many jobs would your team members do a day?
They all have different appetites.
Sure.
They can vary between 4 to 12.
Yeah, wow.
We've got one or two valuers that have got a big appetite, and they don't seem to fall on quality either.
Yeah.
They're just very efficient and just super organised. To be able to get
Absolutely.
and do that, like there's a lot of hours involved because it's one thing inspecting the properties, but then you've got to get them out and then do the next day all over again. So often working back.
Yeah, you've got a good team. I love that you identified about their individual goals as well and their work capacity.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your team.
So we've got probably around 10 valuers and as many support staff that cover around. We do a mix of residential and commercial work as well as the tax depreciation schedules. And our team, it's quite, it varies. They vary in age.
Yes.
So, and as I said before, we're quite supportive of how everyone wants to approach their work.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
We've got a couple of guys that want a 9-day fortnight.
Yep.
So we've, supportive of that because they're towards the end of their careers. They're really good valuers. They just don't want to be pushed to do crazy amounts of work.
Yeah, of course.
They want to just sort of enjoy, just wind down and still enjoy it, and they're still doing really good work. And we're really supportive of that. We don't need everyone to be churning out crazy amounts of work, but then, some of our competitors just have the mindset of,
churn and burn.
So we've picked up a lot of really good, valuers that have a lot of experience.
I think also too that's that expertise you don't want to lose in the industry as well. So 9 days is better than not at all, isn't it? And being able to have that within your business.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But, I guess that it goes through any of the staff. Would try and be flexible because life's got to be flexible now more than.
You've got to enjoy what you do, don't you? I think that's why I love having people like you, that are passionate about your industry, and I mean especially a lifelong career. That's amazing. But also to inspire your team as well. To have a passion. If you weren't doing what you're doing, what industry or role would you do?
Yeah, probably something in property. Like I really enjoy property. I don't know that I'd be cut out to do sales, but something within the property industry. I really love agriculture as well.
Amazing.
So that could have been a preference way back when, but I think I've done my time in property. So if I ever had to change, it'd be something
It's
you know?
amazing, though, that there's just such a strong pull within your passionate industry. It's very rare.
Yeah.
I'd love for you to share, is there any myths or misconceptions with your industry?
Yeah, look, probably the biggest one that's fairly widely known is that, with bank valuations, that they're really conservative or undervalued. And look, some valuers are super conservative, there's no doubt. I guess the methodology behind a bank valuation versus a valuation that we might do for pre-sale or pre-purchase or for capital gains, it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
So the way we get to that is exactly the same. The only thing that may be a factor is the selling period.
Sure.
So the bank will specify the selling period, and if we deem that property to be beyond that selling period, then that could have that could factor into pulling the value down.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing because you mentioned that, because traditionally, if it's 3 or 6 months, that's generally, most properties, but, there'll be some
99s.
unique ones.
Yeah. And use the example before of a $10 million horse stud.
Yes.
And you look at those when they go on the market, and it can take 12 months or more to sell those properties. So
we know a lot changes.
The banks don't want to hang on. Like if it's a distressed asset, they don't want to hang on for that amount of time. So that's where it can be a factor, but for the most part, that's 99.5%.
Yeah, well,
properties, there shouldn't be, and there's been, we've kept our results on variance from what we valued to what subsequently sold, like within sort of a 12-month period, and we always hover around the sort of 3%.
Yeah, it's amazing you measure that.
Yeah, well, at the beginning of the business, we're like, how do we measure ourselves?
Yes.
Like, accuracy's got to be one.
Absolutely.
Obviously, turnaround is another one, getting the job done.
Absolutely,
as fast as possible. So,
well, it's a really key component, isn't it? Especially when there's a finance, component of a contract. So
yeah, we always say we're the last ones to the party and the first to leave.
Yeah, look, absolutely, and it all happens very fast when it does, doesn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, you've got to, there's always, like with the bank work, there's often settlement pinned to it, and sometimes it comes to us and like, this thing's settling tomorrow, like, can you,
Yeah.
And you just got to drop everything and try and
prioritise.
But that's a job.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Yeah. So what do you love about your role? What do you love about the industry? What keeps you excited after so long?
I think just the variance with people and property.
Yeah.
Basically, just, you have your run set for the next day. You don't know who you're going to meet, and you don't know what the property's going to be like, and there's just so many.
What kind of dog they'll have?
Challenges.
Yeah, of course.
Good challenges. That's it. And then just working with a really good group of people at Australian Valuers. They make life so easy.
That's amazing.
Got great support staff there. So
it's a credit
and
to
a great
you.
Business partner. So.
Yeah. Are you still out on the tools, so to speak?
Yes. I'm doing mainly commercial.
Okay.
At the moment. So we've got a new commercial valuer starting with us, which I'm really happy about.
Yeah, it takes a bit of pressure off.
Yeah. So that's been really good. Like I had a period of time not totally off the tools, but a fair bit off the tools, and I didn't think, I was worried about how it was going to go when I came back into it, but I've actually really enjoyed it again. So
it's amazing. I think it's, if we anchor back to why we do what we do,
yeah, and
really what is it that excites us, and exactly like you said, and that's the same for me. No two properties are the same, no two clients are, certainly no 2 days are the same.
No.
I don't think either you or I could be in a job where it's the same thing every day.
No. I'd struggle.
Yeah. Do you get an opportunity to holiday? Is that something that you have always had an opportunity to fit into your work-life balance?
Yeah. So my wife's mother's lives in Tokyo, so we go to Japan a lot.
Amazing.
Probably, once a year or once every couple of years.
Yeah, awesome.
And, we love travelling, sort of trying to plan a trip over to Portugal.
Yeah,
and
tell us about
Spain,
that.
Morocco, but we priced the flights in there. Yeah, we might just wait a little bit.
There's 4 of you, is that right?
There's
The
4,
2 kids
yeah,
are coming
yeah,
too?
yeah.
And what would that
But we'll get
holiday
there.
look like?
Yeah, just sort of just doing a bit of travel for probably 3 to 4 weeks.
Amazing.
4 weeks, yeah, around that, Spain, Portugal and Morocco. Yeah, just getting out because we did a similar trip a few years ago where we spent sort of a couple of weeks in Italy and a couple of weeks in France.
Beautiful.
So
the kids, did you say they're 12 and 10?
Yeah, they are now.
Yeah.
They were 2 and what were they? Maybe 2 and 4 or something, and we were in a motorhome. So
would not recommend.
Oh, it was good. it was great. There were a lot of benefits, but yeah, it was hard going a bit with 2 kids.
Yeah, of course. Cheaper airfares though, right?
And they're not cheap either.
No,
it's like it's just as expensive to go and stay.
Yeah.
Somewhere nice, but it did get us way off the beaten track. Like we went to some places in Tuscany and stuff. We were just like, oh, can't believe
it's amazing.
And we did a lot of farm stays. So
awesome. Well, that's the agricultural part of what you enjoy as well. Perfect.
Yeah, and the food, that was a big thing.
Yes.
Like we'd go to, wineries and most wineries over there that have a restaurant and you could just park your van up for nothing as long as you were just compelled to go and buy something. So
amazing.
We went to some amazing farm, like it was
that's awesome.
Just pinching yourself. We're just so far out and you would never do it if you didn't have the motorhome. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
so
cool.
Would this future trip be in a motorhome now that the kids are older?
Probably not.
Okay.
We're going to do a trip to Japan in April and we're going to hire a car.
Awesome.
Just on one of the islands down to the south. So but no motorhomes for a little while, I think.
Oh, it's so wonderful, isn't it? The memories that we have with family as well. Yeah. It's really valued. What has been your most favourite day in your life?
I have to say my wedding day.
Yeah. Yuki's listening.
Yeah. No, definitely that. And then obviously off the back of that, then the kids.
Yeah, amazing.
On a professional level, it would be, starting the business. It's still going and it's, going really well. So
amazing. Such a credit to you both, especially with that friendship and, just to have that foundation is really, obviously, it's really helped within the business. I wanted to ask, we chatted before we were on air about your favourite meal or drink. I'm guessing maybe the wine.
So many of them.
I
love wine too.
Yes. What kind of wine?
I love all wine. Like I probably lean more towards red wines.
Yeah, nice.
I like Italian wines.
Beautiful.
Like Australian wines. I just like trying different wines.
Yeah, and food.
Food, yeah. Again, it's really hard to pinpoint. Like when we go to Japan, I love soba noodles, which are the buckwheat noodles.
Yes.
And they put the tempura on top. I really love that. It's one of my favourites. I can't go, talking red wine, can't go past a really good steak.
Perfect combination.
That's great.
We're very blessed here.
Yeah.
And then also, did I hear that you also enjoy making a curry?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yep.
That's awesome. So you don't mind being in the kitchen as well as enjoying good food?
Yeah, definitely. No, it's just a challenge of making something from scratch, and when it comes out good, it's a good feeling.
We did talk, didn't we, about the disappointment of when things don't, and having those sort of high expectations, especially when you enjoy cooking yourself.
Oh yeah.
And does she cook? I know she's been in Australia almost all of her life, but do you have a lot of Japanese cuisine?
There is. We do at home. The boys love okonomiyaki, which is the Japanese pancake. So that gets requested a lot.
Yes, that's a good one.
Yeah, and then when Yuki's mum comes over, she'll do the hand rolls from scratch and
beautiful.
Yeah, she's a really good cook. So
yeah, and you mentioned the kids are learning Japanese.
Yep.
Yeah, doing well with that.
Yeah, they're doing really well.
Yeah, that's amazing. So they may fly the coop one day, maybe head over.
Yeah, the eldest one always talks about it. So
yeah. Well, there's lots to explore.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy Japan in summer or winter?
Probably more, well, definitely not summer over there because it's crazy hot.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, you really want to be going to Japan in the off seasons, like in autumn and spring.
Yeah.
So spring's when they have the cherry blossoms.
Cherry blossoms, yes.
Yeah. And then obviously winter is awesome if you want to get amongst the snow.
Snow.
Which we've done that before.
Yeah, that's up in the north, is that right?
Yeah, the north, or even on the main island like Nagano.
Okay.
Which, that's not that far from Tokyo.
Yeah, awesome.
So yeah, there's really good ski fields everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great spot for you to be able to visit regularly.
Yeah.
Craig, let's wrap it up. I know you probably have a valuation to head off to.
Paperwork.
Yeah. I would love to end our chat with your favourite quote or saying.
Favourite quote, probably something my father said. Don't put off tomorrow what you can do today, which I think it's a good way just to keep motivated, because if you get things done and then you just make way for the next wave of things rather than park stuff if you're busy.
Absolutely.
Just to keep that motivation moving forward.
Amazing quote. Do you remember when he said it?
Oh, he always used to say.
Is it amazing, isn't it? Yeah, it's incredible.
But it's just keep if you can do it, just do it today.
Absolutely,
rather than put it off. I'll just do it next week.
Small things become big things, don't they? Or it causes more stress and anxiety waiting. It's just get it done.
Off your desk,
I love it. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time. If our listeners want to get in contact, it sounds like they're probably going to need a tax depreciation schedule. They may need an updated property valuation. Yep. How should they get in touch?
Probably the easiest way, if you need anything, is just to go straight to our quotes email.
Yes.
Because we've got a team that deals with all that.
Yeah.
So just quotes at australianvaluers.com.au.
How easy is that?
That's it.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Craig.
Thanks, Amy.
I really value your time. I couldn't help myself. Really appreciate all of the support that you've offered to my clients over the years, also me personally. It's really awesome to have you here as a guest.
Vice versa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Beyond the Signboard. We trust you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed making it for you. If there are any topics you want covered in the future, make sure you reach out and let us know. Also, feedback and suggestions are appreciated, almost as much as likes, shares and downloads.